I am so excited to be joined by Tony-nominated actor and singer Andrew Rannells. You know him from the Book of Mormon on Broadway, Girls, and now he is in Black Monday. And he has also a new memoir out called Too Much Is Not Enough. Andrew, thank you so much for coming on.
Thank you for having me.
As I was telling you, I loved the book so much. It's such a great piece of memoir. You have so many funny stories.
Thank you.
Do you have a favorite story or passage from the book?
I mean, I liked going back into sort of my childhood in Nebraska and thinking about particularly like those first years I had when I was like getting interested in theater and my first auditions, like auditioning for Oliver. I didn't get it.
That was such a great part of the book, though.
I wasn't cast in that show at all, but it was a you know, ultimately a good experience because it made me like want it more. But I still really have an axe to grind with that kid who got it. So,
well, if you find it, if you're out there.
That's his name.
If he's out there,
Lance.
Watch out.
I'm sure he's a lovely adult now, and
he's like in a cubicle somewhere. Like, what did I do?
I'm not sure where he is, but he, I'm sure, is lovely. I've never seen him again.
One of the things you said for the book is that you are afraid if you ever had to go back and relive a day in your life, like you in our town, that you would pick something really boring.
Yeah.
So is there a day that you would like to relive? Like, what's your best day?
I mean, if I got to relive a day, so, you know, for anyone who doesn't know that reference, there's the scene at the end of Our Town where they're like, you get to relive one day, and she picks this really sort of like Monday day in her life, which is actually turns out to be really beautiful. My fear is that I would accidentally pick like a day where I was just in my apartment alone eating like Chinese and watching Mad Men like 13 hours in a row. And that would be the day I had to relive. But if I had to relive one, I think I would go back to the Book of Mormon opening night. Because I think it was so exciting, but I was also super overwhelmed to have all of that happening. And I was present, but probably not present enough. So I would relive that.
It's very interesting because I was telling you, I read your book yesterday, and one of the things I found really interesting about the book was you kind of stopped the book when you had your big break. So for me as a reader, I don't know what it was like when you did the Book of Mormon, which was obviously a huge career moment for you. But instead you chose to focus on your childhood and the years you had in New York where you weren't having success.
Yeah, well, I mean, and when I do stop the book, so it's in early 2005 when I made my Broadway debut in Hairspray, and I was in the chorus of Hairspray, and that was my dream. My dream was to be on Broadway and I just wanted to be in a Broadway show. I never got more specific than like, I want to be the lead, I want to open a show. Like, I just wanted to be on Broadway. So at the time, at 26, like, that's what I wanted. And I feel like, even though it's not the thing that maybe people know me from, it was such a huge moment in my life that like kept me sort of on the right path and kept me focused. And that's what I came here to do. And of course, then, you know, when you achieve a dream, then you sort of swap it out for a new one sometimes, or you like think of a slightly larger one than that you want. And that happened. But I didn't want to minimize the fact that was also a big deal. And sometimes those wins don't always take the shape that you think they're going to. You know, it's not always like holding an Oscar in your hand. Sometimes it's something that's maybe a little smaller and a little more contained and personal.
I think that's what you said, too, is you have this bio that's obviously very impressive, but it was everything before that led to
that's always the stuff that gets skipped over is like, you know, being a temp, doing Pokemon Live. Those are things that I don't include in my bio, but now they will be.
Okay, can we talk about Pokemon Live for a second?
No, we can't. Nope. Yes,
I saw you talk about it. I think it was like a Broadway interview or something. But, okay, for those of you who don't know, you starred in Pokemon Live.
Why does this exist?
With this amazing wig. Of course, as soon as I read that passage in your book, I immediately Googled it, and I was like, oh, my God.
Yeah, it was a real show.
This is amazing.
It's a real show.
So, what was the show about?
That's a damn good question. As far as I recall, I mean, I still don't really understand what Pokemon is. It's a card game, or it was a card game. It was a video game. I'm not exactly sure. It was a cartoon. What the story of that was like the lead kid, whose name was Ash. Pikachu gets kidnapped. Like me and this girl kidnap Pikachu, and then the whole thing is like how to get Pikachu back.
Exciting.
I don't really recall many of the details of the very complex plot lines, but I sure did have to wear that goddamn wig every night. And
but you had a really interesting point about this in the book, and that's kind of why I wanted to talk about it, not to just embarrass you with this purple wig.
Too late.
Is that you said that while you were being cast in this show, you realized is that the character was kind of playing on some harmful stereotypes, and you just did it because you needed the money and you needed work. And I mean, do you regret that, or it's more of a learning experience?
It was a learning experience. It was based on this cartoon, so the characters were already sort of shaped, and they just were looking for people to do these sort of impersonations of these characters. And the one that I played was like, a real gay clown. It was like what I now think was a very sort of offensive voice and demeanor, but I knew I could do it. And I had just gotten myself in this position where I just really needed a job. So I did it, and initially I didn't think it was going to be a big deal, but then it actually did really affect me in a more profound way, because I would see these little kids coming to the show. Odds are good there were some little gay ones out there, and I was like, I don't want them to think that this is the only way we can behave and that we have to like play it for laughs. And even though like there was obviously no sexuality involved in Pokemon Life, but just the idea that like, well, that's the gay guy, that's the clowny gay guy, and I hated that I was sort of perpetuating this myth, particularly for these kids. So yeah, that was I vowed to myself after that like whatever it took, like I'll be better at saving my money, I'll get a survival job, whatever I need to do to like not put myself in a position where I have to take a job that I really didn't want.
And that's a good lesson to learn, too.
Yeah, and I was young to learn it, so I was lucky that's when it happened.
Well, you're appearing in the new show, Black Monday.
Sure am.
Very incredible cast. We have Don Cheadle. We have Casey Wilson, who was on the show a few weeks ago, actually.
The best.
Who are you the most excited about working with?
I mean, I was super excited. I had known Don a tiny bit. I had met him. I had never met Regina Hall. Casey and I were already friends, so I was very excited about that. So I was really pumped to meet Regina, because I just love her very much. And then we all got to spend so much time together doing this series. It was really just, it's a great show. It's a very odd sort of combination of like, it's a sort of a serious drama in some ways. We're following this very specific path to the 1987 stock market crash. But then it's also a very broad comedy. So it was a really fun challenge to sort of find the balance between that. And the cast is really great and fun.
Yeah, it's a good cast.
It's a good cast.
It's
a good cast, folks.
Okay, so we wanted to play a little game with you. Are you game?
Yeah.
Are you game for the game?
Does it involve a wig?
It does not involve a wig, but I'm kicking myself right now because I wish it did.
Next time.
We should have made you wear the wig the whole time. Okay, so your book is called Too Much Is Not Enough. So we're going to play a game with you. It's rather simple. It's called Too Much or Not Enough. So I'm going to tell you something, and you're going to tell me, do we have too much of this in our lives, or do we not have enough of this in
our lives? Ooh, I like
lives?
being judgmental.
Okay, you ready?
Uh-huh.
First one, Patti LuPone.
Not enough.
I think we all can agree
Not
there,
enough.
Right?
Not enough. I just made the gay pilgrimage to London to see her in company, and I got to tell you, it was well worth it.
You got to meet her, right?
I don't want to brag, but I have her phone number, and like we'll text and stuff.
What do you text about with Patti LuPone?
Private things.
Wow.
No. Look, that's me and Patti LuPone. There's proof. And Sally Field. Like, let's be honest.
You're living your best life.
I'm living my best life. That was a crazy night, but the show is phenomenal, and she is incredible in it. So if you're in London,
if I'm in
not
London,
enough of Patti.
I'll get it.
There's never enough.
All right, the 80s fashion on Black Monday.
I'm going to go with too much because, I mean, while I did get very used to myself in a high-waisted pleated pant, and I was like, I think I look good in this. It's not meant for the streets. It's for costume parties. It's for TV and costume parties.
You don't think that look should come back?
No, but like I got really, sometimes this happens as an actor, like particularly if you're doing, like you're in the same type of clothing a lot, you do get used to yourself looking a certain way. So I was like, oh, I look normal in these pants. So much so that I like, after a couple glasses of wine was like, I want to buy some pleated pants from Hugo Boss. And I was like, what the hell am I doing? I'm not going to wear these pants. It's like a goddamn costume.
You could start a trend.
No.
All right. Maya Rudolph saying bubble bath on Big Mouth. We have a clip of it.
If you need me, I'll be in the bubble bath. Bubble bath. The bubble bath. Bubble baths.
I mean, she's the greatest.
I love that show.
I mean, not enough.
And you're on the show.
I am on the show. I play Matthew on that show. I love doing that show, but she's, man, oh man, she's the best.
It It is a great show. Do you like playing Matthew on the show?
I love playing Matthew on that show. Yeah, I think it's a fun. Nick and John and Andrew, they've made like a fun choice to make like the gay kid sort of also the bully, which I enjoy. I enjoy that.
He's an amazing character.
It really spoke to me. And I got to do a very fun musical number with Jesse Klein in our Valentine's Day special. Yeah, I really love doing that show.
It's
a lot of fun. It's a great group of people. And Maya Rudolph, not enough Maya Rudolph.
I agree.
Ever.
Just in general.
Just in general.
Okay, here's our last one. Live musicals on TV. We got the Grease Live. Oof. What are the other ones? I don't remember.
I mean, I'm gonna say not enough, because I do appreciate that, if I was a kid watching that at home, I'd be very entertained and encouraged and enthusiastic about those shows. So I say keep them coming.
Do you get into them? Do you like live tweet? Do you have a viewing party?
I don't live tweet, but I do watch them. Yeah, I do watch them. I've strangely never been asked to be in one, which seems like a real crime. I'm just joking.
That seems like a missed opportunity.
That's not true. I mean, but I have not been asked to be in one.
Well, we'll have to get you in one next time. Now you're saying,
what should I be in?
You're putting. I don't know. What's a role you've always wanted to play?
I don't know.
High School Musical.
Yeah, I could still do that, right?
Yeah.
Pull the camera back.
100%.
Pull that camera way back. I'll be Troy Bolton.
Yeah, there you go. All right, it's settled. Well, Andrew, thank you so much for joining us.
Thanks for having me.
Too Much Is Not Enough is out today. Pick up a copy for you and a friend. Up next, we're talking about Jordan Peele's new movie, Us.